All right, good morning. Hello, hello, and welcome to Coffee Talk. It is time to have Coffee Talk with Anthony Pica and Vio's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show was, that was a botched up opening because I was trying to get to this show. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all the crazy things that I seem to step on. It is Monday, October 31st. Happy Halloween! It's great. It's great to be here and on this Halloween. I cannot believe it's October 31st. Super excited. Have a day planned this afternoon with the family. So, very excited about all that. And hopefully, you're having a good start to your day. I had to wear my Jurassic Park shirt. I don't know why, but I felt it necessary because I was going to go Halloween as a dinosaur. Anyways, there's so many really bad like dad jokes you can make about that. Any Hoosers, if you're new or you're just coming in, make sure you put your name in the chat as well as where you're from so I can say hello and recognize you. Hopefully you're having a good day as well. Interestingly, I was getting lots of, I got lots, but I got a few orders yesterday for just really quick Halloween voiceovers real quick before Halloween today. So that was always fun, and that's why I always say get up. Your Christmas and your Halloween, Christmas, holiday gigs, very important. But anyways, I wanted to talk to you today about the power of auditioning consistently, and if you have not built this in, you really need to consider it. So if you followed me for any length of time, you know that I'm I'm kind of like a big advocate for not auditioning sometimes or auditioning. And I think, I've said it a bunch because I'd rather have people come to me than me going out there and auditioning all the time, especially in the type of atmosphere, the business world that we work in from home. However, I will say that I believe that that's to a point. So I guess what I'm saying is, I struggled with trying something and then giving up before it really came to fruition, right? I think that's something very important to consider, that when you're auditioning, okay, it can take time. You might audition for a job, or you might audition for a couple of jobs, and you might get it. You might get a job. You might get a couple, or you might audition and you might not get any. All right. And I think that's where the challenge can come in, because we get going and we don't keep going because we're not winning any. You're like, I've done X amount. And these can be large numbers. You'd be like, I've done 100 auditions, I've done 200, I've done 300 auditions, and I'm not getting any work. I started to get shortlisted, but I'm not getting any work. And that's really, that's really frustrating me. I don't know what to do to get work. So I wanted to kind of talk to you today about maybe some good auditioning practices, but the power of the most important one, which is consistency. One of the big things too, I think, is a very good idea, is to get with a community that's going to really help you, get through those low moments, learn the things that you need to learn, keep pushing you. And I'd love for you to check out a Vio's Journey Elite Academy, and I always talk about it because I think it really does help. I really do. We have such an incredible community, a lot of amazing learning opportunities, as well as, awesome classes and coaches. And there's a link below, but check it out. Check it out. I think it's super helpful, especially as you're starting to build your goals for the end of 2023, which we'll talk about soon in another show. But anyways, so that's a big thing. Get with a good community. All right, that's going to really help you. Joining the academy is one of them, but there's many others. Just find a community that's going to push you, hold you accountable, and you be a part of like-minded people who are going in the same direction as you and have the same views and values as you do. That's important. All right, so I think the second thing that you've got to do is you've got to put your best foot forward when you're auditioning. Now, I know you might be like, well, of course we're going to do that, Anthony. But I find that a lot of people don't. do that, meaning that, they're confused about, like, should I send in a file that is fully edited and rendered and like it would be perfect to put on, for the end product, or should I just send it in raw? And the answer is, you want to send in that file so that somebody listens to it and thinks, man, that is incredible sounding audio as well as performance, right? So you should send in something that is completely finished. Unless they ask you specifically for a raw file, you send in something that is completely finished, because you're not, you don't know what they need. They might need to just send it straight to the developer. They might need to send it straight to, the editing team. I mean, for the video, they don't have time to edit your work, or they don't even have an audio engineer on. You don't know. So you need to send it to, and a good sounding audio will make you sound better. So really super vital for that. I think that's really super important. Another thing, so we've got your audio. Another thing is you're auditioning, you're acting. Is something we, over the VO's Journey voiceover conference that we had a couple weeks ago, we were, Scott Brick was talking, and he was talking about, which is wonderful. I love this because I talk about it a lot, but he brought it up and I thought it's great, about making an impression. We all work so hard on getting better at our craft, and we have to. It's essential. But a lot of times we forget that we need to make an impression in the first 1 to 3 seconds. All right. And, and that's the same for anything. You need to make an impression. And think about it. If you are auditioning for a piece and there are hundreds of other people auditioning, how are you going to stand out, okay, in front of those people? Well, of course, all the things that we talked about, audio, good acting, but standing out is vital, which means that you need to make strong acting decisions. Meaning, if you feel a piece should be a certain way, go for it. Go all in. I'd rather you do 100 auditions where you were trying everything under the sun, and remind, I mean, if there's directions, please follow the directions. But a lot of times the directions are somewhat ambiguous, as we know, and you need to push the boundaries in order to stand out. So all I'm trying to say is, don't be afraid to go all in. Don't hold anything back with your performance. This is an opportunity also for you to learn and you to play. Here's an example. If you're going to do 100 auditions, you know what I mean? And, you're not winning any, you might as well do the next 100 as best, is giving a big a shot as you can, is going all in, trying new things, right? Because this is how I found, I call it my money voice, or this voice style that people really enjoy, which is interesting because when I first started, it was completely different as what I thought that I should be narrating like. And as time went on, I wasn't winning auditions. I wasn't getting a lot of work. And so I started playing around with different pitches in my voice, different cadences, all kinds of different things. And what I found was there was certain things that people really liked and they would hire me for. And then there was other things they wouldn't. And then I would switch back and forth and be like, no, we'd like that other one, right? And what's happened is, over time, my voice style has become a lot more like that. And also I found that confidence has played a massive role later on too. And the same thing with you, as you get, more confident, your voice style, the way you narrate, the way you talk, the way you do commercial, people will like that because it is you completely confident about the message that you're sharing. So when you become completely confident, something else happens too. You stop sounding like someone else. You start to sound like yourself. You start to turn out work that becomes totally unique to you, your delivery, your person. And that's powerful because that's what everybody's searching for. But as you do that too, your storytelling prowess gets so much better. But all of this has to come with this starting point of you trying new things, you getting yourself out there, you going all in. So important. Pushing yourself, even when you have no idea what you're going to do or what it's going to be, you've got to give it a shot. So that's another thing, get yourself out there, make an impression. Okay, that doesn't mean, like, when the audition starts, you're like, woo, Now, if it calls for something like that, you better go all in and do it. But I'm saying within context of the piece, give it a shot. And like I said in the past, for acting coaches, schools, the idea of getting work or standing out came from the idea of you getting better at your craft, right? You just, constantly getting better, constantly more professional, and that's vital. But that never really spoke to how do you stand out in a crowd of hundreds. All right. Same thing with acting on a stage, right? Or on a screenplay when you're getting in there and it's one after another, right? Of people auditioning, how are you going to stand out? You've got to push the limits. You've got to stand out. That's an art in itself. I used to, when I was a casting director for the stage, I did a lot of, I've seen a lot of auditions, and there are some people you've got to become a master at auditioning if you want to be successful in the audition arena. Okay. And I think that's, and to do that, just like anything else, in order to master something, you got to do a lot. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of auditions. You do. All right. What is that? Maxim Gladwell, right? To become an expert, 10,000 hours of doing something, whether or not that, has any scientific basis or not, which some say it does, some say it doesn't. The idea, though, is, think about how good of an auditioner you'd be if you did 10,000 auditions. You know what I mean? I mean, just being able to comprehend, to try to be confident about your style. Okay. I know we had also at our conference too, we had David Cicerelli on from voices.com, and we also had Rolf Veldman from Voice 123, the CEOs there. And I thought David said about, they've got some top performers on their sites that are auditioning 30 to 50 times a day. 30 to 50 times a day. That means in 10 days, right, they've done 300 to 500 auditions. Right? 20 days, right? That's what, 600 to 1,000, 30 days, 900 to 1,500. I mean, this is a lot of auditions. And so that means if you play that out, so let's say you do 1,500 auditions a month over a year, there's your 10, 15, 20,000 auditions. I mean, that's a lot of auditioning. So you're going to get work. You're going to get feedback. You're going to learn a lot about yourself, and you're going to try a lot of new things. If you want to have that super success, you got to do super things. All right. That's pretty super. And then by the way, this is one way of getting work. You know what I mean? There's many other ways, but this is one way of getting work. And this is diving head first into the fire. So standing out. That's another very important thing. Another important thing is to make sure that you are being easy to work with and a good communicator. This, again, these are like duh kind of things, but you'd be surprised how often that doesn't come across. Also, I know this is something silly, but this is just a huge pet peeve of mine, so I want to share it with you. So many people aren't fully aware of how they communicate. I mean, how they're typing, how they come across. Meaning, like, make sure that you are, coming across as polite. You're very thankful for the opportunity, and you're going to deliver as soon as possible. The faster that you can deliver, the faster that you can underpromise, underpromise, over deliver, or whatever, overproduce. I don't know whatever that phrase is, but you get what I'm saying. As much as you can go over the top and do more, the more you're going to impress people, have repeat customers too. Because a lot of this is about making it a good impression, doing a good job, winning the job, and then having them come back and work with you over and over again. Very, very important. And yes, when you're building your business, you need to, this is the kind of lifestyle that we live. Okay, we get this amazing freedom, but when the time comes, we got to go and we got to do it. So, that's something that, and if you don't want that kind of lifestyle, that's okay too. That's why God made audiobooks. So that you can take your time and do them when you can. All right. So there's all kinds of, I know I'm an idiot, but anyways, that's something to consider too, is when you set up your stuff. All right. When you set up like your idea about what I'm going to do and how I'm going to get business and what kind of voiceover genres do I want to be in, what do I fit in, You need to also consider, what is it at the time that you have. That's why when I started voiceover, I only had a few hours every night, from like 10 to 2 a.m. in the morning. That's when I could work. So I had to pick things that did not involve me talking to a lot of clientele at that time, so that pretty much ruled out a lot of short form things. I needed to pick voiceovers. I needed to pick audio, something that gave me more time, that the responses didn't have to be so straight away. And that's why I got into audiobooks, really, right, to start there. Sorry, a lot of things blowing up here. Speaking of being on time and communicating quickly, but that's why I did what I did. Okay, because I chose that, because at that time that was the best time I had to offer. And you might find that it's something else, but pick what you can do. All right, and make sure that you communicate. You're the best communicator at it. You really take the time to stand out in that realm, because in the end, there's so many of us voice actors out there, but there's not so many of us that are polite and go out of our way to, be great customer service people. Right? And really, it's, so add that to your repertoire, and that's going to be a massive, even with you responding from an audition. Hey, thank you for the opportunity. I'm really excited about this. I can deliver in 24 hours or less. I look forward to working with you. I mean, something simple like that goes a long way when you're, responding to an audition request. Now, in some places, should you audition? Should you not audition? This is a question I get a long time. Like, for example, let's say you're on Fiverr and someone comes to you and they ask you for an audition. Do you audition? All right. So this is how I look at it. I look at it as a couple ways. So Fiverr is not an audition platform. One, Fiverr is a platform where, people come and they find you, that you have offerings, and they decide to buy from you or not. Now, does that mean they don't want to audition you? No, of course not. And should you audition? Yes, you should. However, and this is a caveat, there are a couple things that I've learned by being on Fiverr and doing thousands and thousands of voiceovers on Fiverr. You've got to look at who's requesting it. All right. I know this seems silly, but you get a feeling. All right. If something feels right, like if someone's already being argumentative with you, if someone is just, not giving you a lot of information and they just want you to do auditions, you know what I mean? That's not a normal thing on Fiverr. Not to say that I haven't. Now, see, here's where the rub is. I've gotten work through doing auditions on Fiverr. And then I've also done auditions and I've never heard anything. So I don't know if they took my auditions and used it or not. So that's where I say the best way to do this is to make sure you add a little bit, add a little sample. So I know this might sound crazy, but I do it. So, like in Vado Elements, they use this thing when you get a piece of music to look at it, before you buy it. They add this thing, Audio Jungle. Right? So you'll be listening to the music and it's like Audio Jungle in there every couple of seconds. So you can't rip the music without having the Audio Jungle in there. All right? Or something. This is a sample. You can do the same thing. You can literally have a track. You can place it on all of your audition tracks. Okay? If you're concerned about a specific audition, right? That them not stealing it. Or what I do sometimes is I'll do part of the audition. Just make sure that you're keeping your heads up about it. But in the end, I say that I would rather do the audition and lose the job or not have the job or something than not do the audition and miss a good job. Because you never know. And are there people out there who are scam artists and trying to take stuff from us? Absolutely there are. Sadly. But, I think to live in that unfortunately, to live in that mindset, I had to force myself sometimes too. Now, I always look at it too, depending on my work. Now, again, I'm talking about Fiverr, because if you're at a platform like Voices or Voice 123 or the Voice Realm or these places where like Voquent, where they might want you to audition, right? That's the point of those platforms. Okay, to get auditions for us. Whereas Fiverr, that's not the point of the platform. All right. So, I think that's just something to take in consideration, and then like how busy you are, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're going to do it, go all in. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and click. I've been talking for a while. Let's go over to the chat. Let's see what's going on. We've got Daniel. What's up? Good morning from Morrison. What's up, Daniel? Happy Halloween, my friend. All right, Nate from Vegas. Boy, I bet Vegas is going to be crazy. Do you know I have never been to Las Vegas in my life, and I feel deeply angry about that. Yeah, I need to go to Las Vegas, but I bet it's crazy on Halloween. Nate, what is the craziest day in Vegas? Every day is probably crazy, but like, what's the craziest? Is it Halloween? Is it Christmas? Is it like Mardi Gras? What day is the craziest? There like a specific day? Anyways, Jeremy, what's up, man? Good morning. Good to see you. Let's see. All things serious news and Christian. Good morning from Wally. What's up, Wally? Good to see you, my friend. James Jones. Good morning. Good morning, James. Let's see, 8is628. Hi, Anthony. Hi. Good to see you. Make sure you put your name in there too, and where you're from, so I can say by your name. Eric, what's up, Eric? Good morning, my friend. Tim says auditions, auditions, auditions. Let's audition, have fun, guys. I love auditions. They teach you a lot about yourself. That's the truth. That's the truth. On a side note, too, and I don't know, maybe somebody asked that, but we might get to it. But, how long should you be taking per audition? And I think that's a vital thing because, if nobody asks, if you're doing 30 to 50 auditions a day, you know what I mean? If you think about that, even, even at a reduced, or a very quick pace, that's going to take time, right? So like if you take, let's say you're taking 10 minutes an audition, which is extremely too long. All right. If you take 10 minutes times 50, right? Well, clearly that's 500 minutes. All right. And so that means it's what? How many hours is that? So that's like 8 hours, 8.3 hours. That's a long time to audition, right? I mean, that's ridiculous. There's no way you can do that, at least sustainably, okay, day after day after day. So you need to drastically reduce how long it takes you to audition. So that's another thing about this, too, that I didn't kind of mention, about how fast. Because if you imagine, let's just say you even got that down to 5 minutes. So now we're talking just 50 auditions, right? So now we're talking 4 hours. So still a lot of hours, but it's quite a bit different than 8 hours. And let's say you got it down to 2 minutes an audition. Okay. Now you're talking, or 2.5 minutes, right? Now you're talking 2 hours. So you've got to consider that, 2 to 4 hours a day is where you probably want to be at, especially when you're first starting out. And like and by the way, too, auditions don't necessarily just flow all in at that time, right? That's another thing too. You're not going to just have just 50 auditions sitting there and you looking at them and say, okay, go, 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 right? They're going to be coming out throughout the day. So you're going to have to do the best that you can. And that's why getting on multiple platforms is a good idea. Okay, using your marketing budget for the year, because we got a new year coming up, 2023, where are you going to spend your marketing money? And if you don't even have any idea about, what, like if you'd ever thought about, well, what's my marketing budget? You need to, okay, because that's a part of it if if you decide to spend it that way. We do have we do have different discounts in the academy for joining these places, but either way, you can use your marketing budget wisely and get a part of some of these places, because some of these you have to audition to get onto, like Voice Realm. But there's some good, there's good opportunity because there's lots of auditions on all these sites. Okay, so all right, let's see. All right, we've got Patricia says, good morning. Oh, wait, I just lost you. Good morning from Jacksonville, Florida. Awesome. Good morning to you, Patricia. Tim says, good morning, Florida from Arkansas. Cool. Arkansas is in the house. Okay, Patricia says, I'm stuck finding a coach to start with Spanish. Please recommend. Patricia, do you mean like you speak Spanish and you are trying to get into voiceover by speaking Spanish, or you mean like you want to learn Spanish? Sorry, so I don't, because like if you speak Spanish, and clearly you speak English too, so if you are trying to do that, it like a vocal coach, or not a vocal coach, but a dialect coach, someone, or not a dialect coach if you're looking to speak Spanish. So I'm not quite sure exactly what you're looking at. Because listen, in the academy, you know what I mean, we don't teach Spanish, but we teach what we teach is across the board, no matter what language you speak. You know, so because the online, the wonderful thing about what's going on now, especially like with even with Fiverr or any of these other sites at this point, they're global. So it doesn't matter where you are, what language you speak, right? You're going to be able to hit a global audience. So I'm not quite sure which part of that do you mean, but you know, I'd love to help you in the academy. But when it comes to Spanish, I don't teach Spanish. But we have a variety of people who speak different languages. But anyways, I'm not quite sure, so I apologize, Patricia, if I don't know exactly what you're saying. Patricia said, "Would you check my Fiverr and see if okay?" Amazing advice. Yeah, I mean, we'd love to. I mean, that's the kind of thing we do. You know, we do reviews, look at that stuff in the academy. We'd love to have you. Amazing advice. Thank you. I did get a lady request an accent sample on Fiverr and then disappeared. Yeah, that happens. And then you got to think too that, you know, they might be trying to find things as well, and they'll come back to you. You know, sometimes a lot of and oftentimes most auditions don't come back. You know, like this morning I woke up and I got a e-learning job for I think a decent chunk of change this morning, but it was an audition I did a couple weeks ago, right? And it just came in today. So, you know, these things do take time as well. And that's why if you do enough of them, right, you keep doing them over and over and over again, it snowballs. So one picks up the other, right? So that's another thing to think about. You know, like what I mean by that is it'll be like you'll begin to have jobs regularly because you've done so much. You know what I mean? Let's see. That's another challenge, by the way, you guys. That's a challenge. I always use this kind of arc. You know, you would audition, market, audition. Then you'd start getting work, right? And as your work, I'm gonna put my coffee down. As your work started going up, you audition. You get to this peak. They hit each other, and what happens is when they hit each other, okay, one of them has to go down. One of them has to move, right? Because we keep moving. Okay, so what happens usually is that your work goes up, and then you audition, and then we get to this point, auditioning, marketing goes down, your work goes up, then it starts to do this, okay? And what happens is then this has to go back up, all right? And so what, I feel like I'm in a dance. So, anyways, what I'm trying to say to you is that, what am I doing here? You've got to find a way to keep both of them at an even level. And that is the challenge, right? So what you need to do is you have a daily schedule where you set umpteen hours or whatever, an hour, 2 hours aside for one thing, an hour and 2 hours aside for another thing. So like, this is the chunk of time I'm going to audition and market no matter what. This is the chunk of time I'm going to work on my voiceovers no matter what. If I don't have any voiceovers, then I'll just add that time to my auditioning. All right. But we've got to really keep those going at the same level, or, you know, we're not going to be able to maintain. It'll always be some sickening roller coaster we're on. Okay. Nate says July 4th. Not sure. Hey, Anthony, this is Neil. What's up? Cooking breakfast in Galveston, Texas. Nice. New Year's Eve is the craziest in Vegas. New Year's Eve. There you go. Patricia says, if someone requests a sample on Fiverr where they do not provide any script, how long should it be? So if they're requesting a sample on Fiverr without a script, I'm assuming they just want your demo. So a lot of times, whether small studios or individuals, video editors and things, they'll come and they'll ask for your demo that they can share with a client to see if they like that. So that's usually what they want. But if they don't provide you a script, I mean, if they don't provide, so this is that sniff test I was telling you about. If you don't find that it's one of those situations where you feel confident that they're doing, you know, what they're supposed to be doing, then just stay away from them, because there are a lot of people who will take advantage of you out there. And it's, I mean, and yeah, I mean, it happens on Fiverr all the time. It happens everywhere. Okay. So just, you've also got to keep your wits about you too. Okay. So, but I would never do anything over a minute. You know, like my demo is only a minute 15, you know, things like that. I wouldn't do anything more than that. Nate says New Year's is second. Oh, July 4th and New Year's. Gotcha. Edwin says, good morning from Charlottesville, North Carolina. Well, technically Sumter, or South Carolina. While I take care of family. Gotcha. Okay, Patricia says, I do speak Spanish for VO and Spanish market. Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, Patricia, I don't know any specific coaches who specialize in Spanish speaking voiceovers for just getting work for Spanish speaking voiceovers. I know that, like, for example, if you worked with me for the academy, I mean, I know exactly what to tell you to do, but I couldn't go any further than what I tell everybody else to do in the academy. Do you know what I mean? So like so for Spanish speaking, I'm not sure if there's like who to send you to that just does Spanish speaking voice actors. Yes, I want to start VO first in the Spanish realm at first, as it is my first language, but I'm bilingual. Awesome. But I can tell you, Fiverr, I mean, I wish I was bilingual, because it is, especially the Spanish market right now, because it's growing so quickly. It's a great market to be in, and you can do crazy, amazing things on Fiverr, and a lot of other places too. Okay, so Patricia says, yes, the academy looking into it now. Awesome. We'd love to have you, Patricia. Jordan says, quick question. I have a client wanting to work with me directly. I'm usually on Fiverr. Would you recommend taking payment through PayPal? Additionally, recommended communication channel. I have a client wanting to work with me directly. Okay. So, so this is what I do. I have PayPal Business, which is free, and that way I invoice everything through, PayPal Business, which is really nice, because all they got to do is click on something. But there are many different invoice options out there, but I use PayPal Business. And for communication, I use email. Honestly, email is the best way to communicate. You can always faster communication, whether they're on Facebook Messenger or they're on, WhatsApp or these things, there's a variety of different, real-time communication methods. But email usually is the best way to, and that's why I really do enjoy directly working with clients, and even with the audiobook idea too, because a lot of times it's not a real-time chat. Okay, even though it can be very nice for us, it also can be, that means we got to be on call all the time. So I just simply use PayPal Business and an email. Yeah. Jordan says, thank you for all your help in videos. Absolutely. Audie says, good morning, Anthony. Good morning. Well, listen, everybody, I think if that's up for the questions. Check out Avio's Journey Elite Academy. We'd love to have you. There's a link below. We're also offering 50% off the first month for you to give us a try. So we'd love to have you there. Also, I had to tell you about the amazing webinar we also have coming up with Pat Fraley. The point is for our academy is that, we bring in, all kinds of stuff, not only with the teaching and the lessons and all the content and everything that we have in the community, but we also bring in webinars too monthly, and we're really starting to pick this up more. And we have Pat Fraley, who's a legend in the video game industry, and performances and characters, and he's done so much great stuff, is coming to do a webinar on November 19th. And there should be a link below. I'll post that, but you can also find that at viosjourney.com. I got to get it on the website, actually. But we've also sold a bunch of tickets. We'd love to have you. It's very inexpensive. I think it's only like $39 for the ticket. And then if you're an Academy member, you get a reduced price. But we'd love to have you and check out that stuff. But give the Academy a look. Start auditioning. Okay, and setting those goals for end of 2023, which I'll do another video on. But thank you guys so much. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Good week. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. And we are back in November tomorrow. November. It is crazy. See you guys later. Goodbye.